every conversation explores the thinking beyond the obvious, and they are hosts with their real life and practical experience to share across the various industries, none other than Mr. Shad Tidler.
Thank you, Daniel. Love being on the show here and being able to talk with you in the audience and see how we can help talk more about effectively hiring salespeople.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Shad, for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you. And today let's talk about how to hire salespeople more effectively. So, when we talk about hiring salespeople more effectively, what's the most common mistake companies make that you aim to correct first?
Great question, Daniel. Probably number one is that they spend way too much time early on going worrying, not so much worrying, but focusing on the cultural fit and not validating the skills and their abilities fit. And what I mean is that a lot of times I see is that they'll get candidates applying for their job role, and they may not do a great job early on verifying those skills and tools those actual candidates have from the sales side. So they'll talk with them. There's a lot of candidates out there who are great at interviewing, great at writing, good looking resume, great at saying all the right stuff, having the right answers, but it doesn't mean necessarily that they can actually execute on those and have the experience and put it into real life for selling. So what happens a lot of times is those leaders, if they talk to a salesperson sounds great, and they go, wow, they sound like they really know what they're talking about. I can see them being a really great cultural fit at our company. They seem like me. They seem, like kind of like how I approach things, how I look at things, and they start to pass by all the going and really looking at their skills and tools and going, yeah, but can they actually sell in our environment? Let's say they came from a competitor who is a much bigger company. Um, that doesn't mean that necessarily they're going to be a good fit in our selling environment. Let's say they came from an environment where they were just given a bunch of sales leads that were already warmed up, or maybe just a group of already customers that had to go and grow those versus really going out and hunting for new. Well, unless you're asking the right questions, some tools up front, you're not going to know if they actually have that experience. If you get too falling in love with them as a candidate early on and thinking they're a good culture fit, you may miss those things. And they might be a really good person for the company, but they may not have the skills to execute such a key position.
Interesting, Mr. Shad. Interesting indeed. Before even, what foundational work should company do to set themselves from hiring success?
Very first thing, not even before you start to hire, but well before that, you should be looking at going, do we have the right tools and pieces in place to help this person ramp up and be effective selling in our organization and to manage them effectively? The analogy I use, Daniel, is do you have a bird cage for a bird? And what I mean by that is, do you have all the right things, like the right strategies, the right goals, the right ideal client that's very clear? You've got lists that they're going to be able to use, or here's how to go get those lists. You've got the right sales process and tools for them to use, to train on, to coach on for whoever's managing to hold them accountable. You have a way to break down their goals into activities and go, these are the metrics, these are the indicators we're going to track, how we're going to track. Here's the skills and tools we're going to work on, because even if you have a great salesperson, they're not perfect. Having all that in place is one big piece that makes it successful. Yes, I mean, you got to have a great job description that's truly written for what you're looking for. You've got to have a good hiring process and interview questions, and or you got to have some sort of assessment that they're using to objectively assess their skills and tools. A good onboarding, but it doesn't matter if they ramp up into an environment where there's nothing there to support them. That would be like hiring an accounting person and going, we really don't have our books and our ledgers and all our tools in place, but you'll figure it out, right? You would never do
Yes.
go, accounting's too important, like money coming in, money going out, making sure we're accounted for things, taxes are done properly. It's too important to just leave it to chance. I see too many organizations that do that when it comes to their salespeople.
Interesting, Mr. Shad. And how has the definition of a great salesperson evolved over the last 5 years, especially in terms of skills versus traits?
Good question. Actually, it hasn't evolved that much. There's been some nuances that have involved, like things like what's their ability to communicate on Zoom, on video, right? To be able to use some of those technological tools. Some of the things like being able to prospect, start to build conversations, and get referrals via LinkedIn and other tools. Some of those have changed, Daniel, but in my last 11 years of doing this, I can tell you three big areas of skills and attributes that are important to salespeople have not changed. Number one is what we call will to sell. Do they have personal motivations and goals that they want to go after, that they see selling as a way to get there, that are driving them to go out and be proactive and do the work they need to do every day to fill opportunities, to qualify, to close deals? Are they committed to working hard and getting outside comfort zones to get better, to improve, to reach their goals, whatever it takes? Are they take responsibility? Meaning, if they lose deals, do they blame themselves and go, "What can I do differently?" Or do they blame, "It's because we didn't get the best price. The competition was better. There's something wrong with our company. The market's terrible." That's will to sell. That's still been there and very important over the last 11 years. Their beliefs and mindset. Do they have certain beliefs and mindsets that are making it harder versus easier for them to sell? And then finally, all the skills and behaviors and being able to use them, from hunting and getting in front of new ideal prospects and decision makers, qualifying opportunities, through closing deals, through growing and managing and growing those accounts and finding additional opportunities. Those three big areas and the skills and tools that are needed have stayed the same over the years. It's just now the delivery is a little different because so much has gone online, because so much is done virtually, because so much is done through social networks.
Social networks indeed. And Mr. Shad, the sourcing and attraction stage. Where do the best sales hires typically come from today? Is it about poaching from competitors or nurturing internal talent or finding diamonds in the rough from the other industries?
Uh, Sometimes all the above. Now, what I'll tell you is, if you're in a very niche industry, in my experience, so for example, I've worked with some companies that were looking for salespeople in the political consulting world here in the US. You're going to have to go and poach from other people or build internally. If you just put these out on job boards like Indeed or LinkedIn, you're not going to probably get that many people applying or that many with experience because it's such a niche industry. But a lot of industries, they need to be looking at developing their internal people. They need to be figuring out early is, hey, if we're hiring these folks, is growing into a higher sales role even a possibility? Where a lot of companies miss out, Daniel, is constantly recruiting, meaning they're going, okay, we'll start recruiting once somebody, or they're getting ready to leave, or we're ready to grow. I tell my clients to always be on the lookout, right? Asking referrals. Your people are asking referrals of people they know. Asking referrals through your network or industry. Looking at who are great performers from other companies in the industry. Looking at internal, because so many companies wait until it's way too late to start recruiting, and then they go with the first available person versus the right person because of that.
Well, interesting, Mr. Shad. Thank you for sharing those tips to us. How can many that is not a well known brand compete for top sales talent against the big players in the industry?
It's going to be really hard. Now, those things I was talking about, like the constantly recruiting, is where it can help you because you can beat some of those top companies and top places to do that talent, but you're not going to be able to compete a lot of times on the salary missions. So you got to go, okay, what's the other things we can compete on? Is it our company culture? Is it that we're able to provide additional training and coaching and development? Is it there's an opportunity for those people to move up into higher positions or maybe to a sales management position or other? You got to figure out how to differentiate yourself from those bigger organizations and compete on that because it comes straight up in the name of the company and it comes straight up in terms of like what they're able to offer in terms of compensation. You're not going to be able to compete.
Mr. Shad, tell us what are the two or three of your favorite, most revealing questions to ask sales candidate, and what are you listening for in their answer or
Sure.
answers?
Great. When it comes to skills, a lot of my questions are around how did they do it, right?
Yes.
So a lot of times what people do is they'll get into an interview with the salesperson and they'll go, we need somebody that's a great hunter. So goes out and prospects for new business and they'll go, are you a good hunter? And salesperson will be like, yes, Daniel, I'm a great hunter. I brought in this account, that account, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Or they'll write things on their resume like grew the territory 200% year over year. The problem is most people hear that and they take that at face value and they don't go deeper. So, for example, going, wait a minute, you grew the territory at 200% year over year in value. What was the starting amount? Right? I'm going to be pretty impressed if you go, I went from zero to like 2 million in a year versus, well, I got a bunch of accounts that it was already like 2 million a year. And then I just kind of showed up and they gave me a little bit more and I grew. How did they do it? Right? Going back to what I was saying earlier, if you need a hunter and that person who seems like a great salesperson got this big book of business and grew a lot, they were someone that came in and was given all the best leads, all the best accounts, and they just kind of showed up and leads closed based on the name of the company or on the fact they're already customers and they already have built trust. That's not the right person. So I want to ask a lot of how did you do it? Give me examples. One of the questions I love to ask is, how did you measure success or how do you measure success in your current roles? I want to look, do they have metrics? Do they have key performance indicators, KPIs that they're using to track themselves, or are they just kind of winging it and hope that something good happens? Another thing I love to do, and it's not really a question so much as an exercise, is take a couple of the hardest, toughest prospecting objections, sales situations that your salespeople run into, and make that sales candidate role play. Now, they're not going to know your industry and your product and service inside or out, but they should be able to handle if you say, hey, I'm going to be the prospect and I'm going to tell you your price is too high and I want to see how you handle it, and make them role play like they're themselves in that situation, how they handle it versus just talk it through. Because a lot of times when they talk it through, Daniel, they've read something, heard a book, they've learned this is what like you should do in a situation. But when you make them role play it and do it in a real life action, they will go back to what they normally do in that situation. And it helps you to see what they're actually doing.
Yes, and thank you for those tips that you shared to us, Mr. Shad. And how do you effectively vet for the hassle and resilience required in sales, and what are the hard to see on paper?
Right. So there's a tool that we use. We have a lot of our clients use, Daniel, that it's a sales specific hiring assessment tool. The company that we work through and we use it through is called Objective Management Group, or OMG for short. This is a validated tool that has all sorts of text within it. That basically what we teach our clients is have candidates that you're interested in interviewing, uh, go ahead and take it early on at the very first start before you start interviewing. That might mean have a quick conversation with them to see if they're interested in applying, right, or interviewing, but do have them do this assessment right away, because assessment will tell you things like I mentioned earlier, like their will to sell. Are they actually motivated to sell more? Do they have a desire of kind of fire in their belly to be proactive? Are they actually committed to doing hard things? Are they responsible when it comes to selling? What's their outlook like? It's going to tell you what are some of the beliefs that are making it harder for them to sell, will make it harder for them to ramp up. Things like, do they have a problem talking about money with prospects? Things like, do they have a problem asking tough questions or pushing back and holding their ground? And then it'll also tell you what are their skills and behaviors that they're using all throughout the sales process. The biggest thing about it gives you a lot of objective data, so you don't just fall in love with it early on. And we tell people, do it at the beginning, because if you wait and do it later, you may fall in love with the candidate, maybe a good cultural fit, and then get the data back from the assessment and go, oh, but they're really good at selling. You're going to discount it because you really want them in your organization. So using some sort, whether you use that or some sort of other assessment tool, that's one of the best ways to truly vet out early and figure out, do they not only have sales skills and tools that you need overall, but also are they a good fit to your selling environment?
Mr. Chad, tell us, how can you use the hiring and onboarding process to begin building a strong, genuine relationship between the new hire and their future manager?
Sure. And great thing you bring it up, Daniel, because so many organizations overlook that piece of it. They're just like, okay, we're so focused on the recruiting and hiring that when it comes to onboarding, they'll do like a week of, here's like all your, where to get your computer, your laptop, right, your phone, and here's all our benefits, and here's all the company stuff and our services, and then go sell. Right? It's not a real onboarding plan. It's more of like an orientation to the organization. What I tell people is, we start, when they're getting down to their last maybe 2, 3 candidates, we're going to, or even before that, we're going to start building the onboarding plan. So very first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify in the first 3 months of that salesperson coming on, what's all the things they need to know to be successful at the end of that 3 months. And success meaning they're able to go out on their own, start getting new appointments with ideal prospects, start selling, etc. Right? So not only all the admin stuff, all the company service and products, but what's the sales process look like, how to execute it, making sure they have people that they can go out and ride along with. What are their goals, and what are the goals of the company, and how do we break those down, and what are the metrics and KPIs we're going to track, and what does that look like? How to actually build out parts of their sales process, right? Like their pitch. Here, we're going to work on how to form that and have them practice that with us. So we're going to lay out all that, and then to start building a relationship with the hiring manager. Well, first off, that hiring manager better be in those interviews along the way, right? Because this person's going to be their person, so they're be part of having a conversation. But the other thing is, once they go, okay, we've identified that candidate, we made the offer, they're going to accept it, send the onboarding plan to them at that time and go, here's our game plan for that first few months you come on. Because it's going to explain a couple of things to that person. Number one, it's going to tell them you've already thought of that, right? This isn't your first time doing it. You already thought of that. You have a plan. They're not going to be left just to swim out there and hope that they don't drown. Number two, it's going to help give them a time to take a look, get some things ready, give some input, be prepared for it. Number three, it tells them that you're investing in them, going that your success to ramping up is just as important as our success in making sure you're the right person, right? So
Yes.
at ahead. Also, there's company swag, things to read. Like I have a client of mine, they have a certain book that they assign to everybody you have to read before you come in day one. In the last year, they ask, what are some of your favorite things? And when that person comes in on the first day at their desk, they have some of those favorite things. If it's a favorite candy, it's a favorite whatever, right? They have, it's just little thing with company swag, right? They're little things to just say you're important as a person and what's important to you.
Yes, and welcome to the company. Yeah, yes, indeed. And Mr. Shad, strategy, data, and pitfalls. How can a company use its own sales data to build a more scientific hiring profile?
Great question. Part of that is to be able to take that data, and this is how we do it, Daniel, here when we hire people is we've analyzed the data over the first year, 2 years, right? And we can go back and look, okay, in order to be for someone to be successful, here's the benchmarks along the way they need to be hitting from a sales side in those first couple of years in order to be successful. So that helps us form, well, what do we need them to do throughout after that onboarding, the first 3 months of that onboarding and after, in order to be successful. If it's they got to make this many prospecting attempts a day and they start to get this many conversations and this many meetings, and we need to be interacting and working through these things at these times, right? We've used our data and information over the years to do that, to become more predictable, right? And going, okay, what's the ramp up onboarding look like? Now, even before that, making sure you've got tools to share, using some of that data and share with people and go, this is realistically what it's going to look like, the effort you're going to have to put in, what the results could look like, what the first couple of years are going to look like, and marrying that up with what their personal goals are, where they want to get to. Right. So, like when I came in here 11 years ago, I talked to the leadership here and I said, this is where a person I want to get to in like a year, 3 years, 5 years, etc. And so they helped me, using their data from the company going, we know this is our data that we've seen successful people ramp up into. This is what's going to take effort wise on your side or what needs to be done to get there and build the plan. Right. So a lot of times if you have that, you've seen the success, if you can go back and analyze that data, it's a heck of a lot easier now using, chat GPT and AI tools to analyze it, look for trends, and then be able to take that and go, okay, this is what it's going to take to get there, and sharing that early with people and setting realistic expectations with them.
Mr. Shad, so tell us for the big picture and future, how is AI beginning to transform the sales hiring process from sourcing candidates to analyzing interview performance?
So from sourcing, one of the ways I've seen already, and this is from some of my clients in the recruiting industry, is they're using AI chatbots and some AI tools to do some of the initial screening and interviewing.
Yes.
Some of the other ways I've seen it too, to brainstorm, let's say you're in one of those niche industries like we were talking about, Daniel, to brainstorm what's other ways that we go out and get in front of candidates and find candidates. I've taken some of my clients who are in niche industries, I've taken their job description, put it into chat GPT and said, tell me where we should be looking for candidates for this. Who should we be reaching out to? And it's actually helped us build out not the messaging to reach out to those candidates and the cadence to reach out to them, whether it's through LinkedIn or other means or resources. Right. So giving, like, I mean, the great thing about AI helps you, it takes all this data from across the internet and it helps you to open up, take the blinders off where you go, I didn't even think about that, right? Or I didn't even know that's a possible way to go. Right. So I'm seeing it from that side on the recruiting and the sourcing side. On the selection side, it is being able to take interviews, put it in and go, okay, what's the trends here? What's good, what's bad, what did I what should we maybe be asking in a next interview? Or I've got these two candidates, here's their resume, what's pitfalls, etc., red flags, etc., look through. So just being able to analyze those pieces quicker, make quicker decisions, and also giving you some objective tools to do it with, because we've got so many biases as humans that help protect us, but in situations like this, they may cause us to overlook really important key things or red flags that we might miss.
And okay, Mr. Shad, if you could give one piece of non negotiable advice to a founder or sales leader about to make their first key sale high, what would it be?
I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. Make sure you got the bird cage ready for the bird. I've seen way too
Mm.
many founders.
Yes, you're right for the bird.
I've seen way too many founders early on, Daniel, who they believe that I'm going to hire a salesperson that will go out and build our sales strategy and our sales structure, and we'll put all these tools in place that, as a leader, I haven't taken time for, or I don't know how to get out of my head and put onto paper, into writing, actually form and have ready for them. Great salespeople aren't coming in looking to build your sales organization. They're coming in looking to sell, right? And so
Yes.
to go out and either you're going to go, I got to build those things and have those things in place. And if I'm getting some outside help from me or someone else that can help you do that and figure those out, great. But I've either got to do that and go find a good salesperson, ramp into it, or I'm going to spend a heck of a lot more time trying to find that salesperson who wants to be the entrepreneur, which is it's like finding a needle in a stack of needles. It's really, really hard, and there's very few of them out there.
Indeed. And Mr. Shad, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please don't listen to my other podcast, people, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season. Abstract Poetry in second season. I'm a Book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season. And my Food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101, Love Letters. Movie 101, Music 101 on fourth season. Science 101, Sex 101 in second season, and my baby podcast, Law 101, Mental Health 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Shad, what are your short term and long term goals?
Well, short term for me in the next year, I got three big goals, Daniel. One is I've got a revenue goal here at Lucian. Kind of, provides everything for my wife and our family, and some of the things we want to do, and some of our longer term goals. I've got a health goal. I've got certain health markers, that I'm gunning for in the next year to be at my healthiest. And I've got a goal around relationships, not only with my wife and my family, and developing those. Long term, I'm 49 right now. My wife and I want to retire by 65, and she's from the Philippines originally, so we may spend some time there and jumping off to parts of Asia. But travel, we love to travel. So doing more of that, spend more time with family.
Travel indeed, and good luck to your goals, Mr. Shad. And again, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, or anything you want to promote on Book 101 Review?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is just our website, Lucian.com, Lushin.com. If you want to connect with me or reach out to have me, potentially help, just go to there's a little page or drop down at the top. Just, talk to a coach. You can select me, and that's the best way to get a hold of me if I can help in any way.
Yes, I think this is the website.
Correct.
Yes.
The coach button up there on the right, and they hit that, and then they can select me as coach. Gives a little drop down that they can fill in, and I'll be contacting them within 24 hours.
Yes. My apologies, people. Mr. Chad is on Abstract Essay, not Book 101. So, Mr. Chad, thank you so much for your time. Yes, people, let's support Mr. Chad because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering business will rise. So, Mr. Chad, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Great being on here.
Monica, people, see you soon.